It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Final game of the series with the Brew Club, and as far as the Dodgers and the Brewers are concerned, the so-called rubber game. The Dodgers, should they win, will then have won 2 series in a row. The Brewers come into this game having already won 3 series in a row. The Brewers are 1.5 games back of the Cardinals, and the Dodgers find themselves 3.5 games behind Colorado, with the prospect of Colorado coming here tomorrow night. The pitching today for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. He has a record of 2-2, 2-3 lifetime against Milwaukee. And on the mound for the Brewers, Kyle Loesch. You may remember he was 16-3 last year for the Cardinals. And as far as the Dodgers are concerned, he is 1-1 lifetime. So the Dodgers and the Brewers closing up shop. We'll see them in Wisconsin late in May. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have a whole lot more coming up right after this. It is brought to you by the Hyundai Let's Go sales event now through April 30th. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. And by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club combo is back for a limited time.
75 and sunny, a sky so blue you can see the big Dodger in the sky. A little breeze blowing it from Malibu right down Sunset Boulevard and into the ravine. Dodgers and the Brewers, the final three. They split the first two. Dodgers won on Friday night. Brewers came back last night with a couple more home runs. Jim Watson and Steve Lyons in center field. Got a great game and two excellent pitchers. And Clayton Kershaw is always good, but at home he's almost unhittable.
Yeah, when he's in front of the home fans, he's devastating. And he's good everywhere, but here in this ballpark, he's great. He show you the numbers of Clayton Kershaw in his 3 starts so far this season, 2-1 with a minuscule ERA. Remember, the last day game he pitched here was against San Diego. They beat him up for 3 home runs here, and he took the loss in that one. I don't think you're going to get the same story. However, Milwaukee is running out their 8-game lineup. They got everybody in their lineup. It's not a Sunday lineup for them.
Kershaw has never beaten Milwaukee here at Dodger Stadium. Kyle Loesch, a late signee with Milwaukee, but he's been really good in his last 4, 2 runs or less in each of those.
Imagine a guy who has a 16-3 record from last season and could barely get signed this year. Milwaukee needed somebody. They signed him. They did a good job. This guy's an outstanding pitcher. He will keep the ball down in the strike zone. You got to try to get him up. You got to hit mistakes. If he does keep the ball up in the zone, he can get hurt.
One thing to keep in mind, Kershaw's going to need some help. In his last 4 outings, 4 runs of support. He needs some offense. Enjoy the game.
Afternoon to you. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, and we've already gotten off on a emotional note. You know how at every game here, either an individual or a group will start the day off by saying it's time for Dodger baseball. Well, today we were really inspired. Ann Goldstein, 100 years old, stood behind home plate leaning on her walker, and she said it's time for Dodger baseball, and it brought down the house. So we're delighted that Ann is here. Hope she has a wonderful time. And we certainly hope you do, too, on radio and TV, wherever you may be. The Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers closing out their work. We will not see Ron Renicky and company until May the 20th in Milwaukee. So here's the Brewers lineup. Norchika Aoki leading off in right field and Gene Segura at short. Brian Braun in left field. Jonathan LaCroix behind the plate. Ricky Weeks at second base with Carlos Gomez in center field. Yuniesky Betancourt will be at third. Martin Maldonado plays first base. Kyle Loesch on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. He is 2-2, matching the number on his uniform. It's a so-so 2-2. He's not particularly thrilled with it. He is 2-3 lifetime against Milwaukee. However, one bright spot for Clayton, he usually pitches very, very well here. At Dodger Stadium, he is 36-18 and an earned run average of 2.3. So leading off against him will be Norchika Aoki, a threat to bunt, shows bunt, and takes a strike instead. The pride of the Yakult Swallows over in Japan. He's from Miyazaki, 5'9", and a very busy hitter. Kershaw ready and comes back, and a full swing and a miss, and the count 0-2. A glorious Sunday afternoon, the temperature 75 degrees. So Kershaw out in front of his hitter, and Clayton comes back. Fast one is waved at him, missed. Aoki walked away as if he felt he didn't have a chance. So Aoki strikes out, one away. We'll take a look at the Dodgers defensively, and you have Gonzalez and Punto, Sellers and Uribe, Crawford, Kemp, and Ethier, and behind the plate, Ramon Hernandez. So one away in the first inning, and the batter now is Gene Segura. Segura has just gotten off to a great start, hitting .354. Didn't start in last night's game. He had torn a fingernail taking batting practice and infield. He runs up as if to bunt, takes outside, ball one. Segura did appear as a pinch hitter in the game and struck out. So Kershaw with one down, both feet on the rubber. Clayton into the windup and comes back, and it's swung on and fouled away, and the count 1-1. Couple of notes on Clayton. April has been the cruelest month for him. He is 6-8 in the month of April, and then when weather turns on goes up, so does he. In May, he is 13-6. The next pitch on the way, swung on, hit to right field. Ethier over to play it on a hop. So Segura continues his solid hitting with a line drive single to right field. And the batter now will be Ryan Braun. So one of the top hitters in the league checking in against one of the top pitchers. So we'll match them up and see what they have done in the past. Ryan Braun hitting .250 against Clayton, 4 for 16. Braun loves that first pitch, and for Kershaw, the importance of the first pitch, if it is a strike, is very evident when you dig down to see. So let's see what happens on this particular first pitch to Braun. Clayton delivers it, swung on, sure enough, and it's a base hit to left field. So Kershaw trying to get ahead with a strike, and Braun, a notorious first ball hitter. And just like that, Brewers have runners at first and second, one out, and Jonathan LaCroix, the catcher, coming up. Jonathan LaCroix caught the first game. Maldonado was behind the plate in game 2. LaCroix, big right-hand batter. He had a couple of base hits and lined out to short in the first game. So LaCroix waits, bent slightly at the knees, takes the first pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes to Jonathan. LaCroix hitting .243, 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. So after Aoki strikes out, Segura and Braun back-to-back singles. LaCroix, tired of waiting, backs away. No score, we're just starting. Clayton Kershaw coming off a couple of struggles trying to settle in at home. The left-hander delivers and finds the mark for a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Kershaw, despite being 2-2, has limited opponents to a .188 batting average with 35 strikeouts, now 36 in 34 innings. And the next pitch to LaCroix is a bit low. So the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Clayton Kershaw and Kyle Loesch And then the Colorado Rockies, the somewhat surprising Rockies with Walt Weiss at the helm. They're 3.5 in front of the Dodgers at the beginning of play today. The next pitch is a little low, so Clayton now, after giving up a couple of base hits with 1 out, runs the count to 3-1 to LaCroix, and Ricky Weeks on deck. LaCroix 0 for 3 in the past. Weeks is 3 for 6 in the past against Kershaw. Clayton ready. Here he comes. Swung on and missed. And the count 3-2. Milwaukee Brewers with Ron Renicky at the helm. 1.5 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals. So he's done a terrific job. His contract's been extended through next year. Kershaw now ready to make a very important pitch. 3-2 with 2 on and 1 out. Jonathan LaCroix, tall right-hand batter waiting. Clayton out of a stretch, looks at the runners. Here he comes, and it's a ground ball to second. A quick feed for 1. They will turn it for 2. So Punto to Sellers to Gonzalez. The Dodgers out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of half an inning, no score. Pitches in the first inning, gave up 2 hits and then got the double play when he counted, and that would be that. Here's the Dodger lineup now. Carl Crawford leading off in left field. Nick Punto, who started the double play at second base. Adrian Gonzalez at first, and Matt Kemp hits cleanup in left. Andre Ethier in right field. Ramon Hernandez the catcher. Juan Uribe at third. Justin Sellers the shortstop. Clayton Kershaw the pitcher. On the mound for Milwaukee, Kyle Lohse. He spells that last name Lohse. He and his brother Eric, who used to be in the Twins organization, are both American Indians. They're members of the Nomalaki Wintun tribe in California. A veteran, won 16 games and lost only 3 last year. Crawford takes the first pitch for a ride to deep center and gone. So Carl Crawford didn't hang around on ceremony. Kyle Lohse's first pitch, and Crawford hits it out. The second home run that Lohse has allowed this year, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Boy, how about that to say hello? So Crawford hits it out. The Dodgers are out in front, and the batter now is Nick Punto. Well, Crawford, he hit it to the black canvas, the hitting background in dead center. So he really gave that a ride. Nick Punto looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. Nick doing a fine job, hitting .346, playing all over the infield. Now the strike one pitch, a chopper into right field for a base hit. So Crawford homers, Punto singles to right, and the batter will be Adrian Gonzalez. Kyle Loesch is 2-3 lifetime against the Dodgers, and he is 1-1 coming into this game. So it's a rocky start for a veteran right-hander. He'll be 35 in October. He's from Chico but lives in Scottsdale now, and originally drafted by the Cubs back in 1996. Kyle out of a stretch and Adrian Gonzalez waiting. Right-hander set and deals, and that's a strike, and the count 0-1. In looking at Kyle Loesch, a veteran pitcher, Adrian Gonzalez is hitting .381 against him, including a home run. Loesch set, checks, and here he comes, and he's low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, in case you wondered about Carl Crawford leading off a game with a home run, that is his 8th career leadoff home run. The last one had been at San Diego earlier this month. 1-1 the count to Adrian Gonzalez. 1-0 Dodgers first inning. Adrian swings and lifts one back a shortstop. Tough sky, and it will be Segura battling it and winning. Segura using his glove held up to his face to get as much shade as possible. He's got sunglasses on, but that was a brutal sky, and somehow the young shortstop stayed with it. But it was a tough fight. So Gonzalez pops it up to short, 1 away, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. Checking the book on Loesch and Kemp, Matt is 4 for 17 with a home run against him. By the way, numbers can lie, certainly. Carl Crawford was hitting less than 100 against Loesch. He was just 1 for 13. Loesch delivers down and away to Matt. 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers lead 1-0 first inning. After Kershaw escaped a jam, he gave up 2 singles in the first inning, and then LaCroix hit into the inning-ending double play. Loesch at the belt, looks over his left shoulder at first base. Taking a cautious lead is Punto. Kemp, a big, long swing, and he comes up empty, and the count 1-1. Dodgers facing a veteran pitcher. Loesch has won 14, he's won 15, and then last year he won 16. Kyle set at the belt. Here he comes and misses low. So he's behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Loesch had a stormy time, let's put it that way, when he was pitching for Minnesota. He and Ron Gardenhire didn't see the exact same thing the same way. Here's the 2-1 pitch coming up. Loesch turns, throws to first. Punto back on the bag. Maldonado, the catcher, is about 3 feet off the bag at first, not exactly holding. LaCroix behind the plate today, but Martin out there at first. 2-1 the count to Matt Kemp. Loesch again ready. It's 1-0 Dodgers, and Kemp rolls one to short. Up with it, Segura throws to second in time while on the ground. He was flat on the ground and somehow made the play. I think he might also have been screened momentarily by Betancourt, who ran in front of him in pursuit of this low ground ball. And Segura, falling on his back, was still able to get the fourth. So he's made 2 very good plays at shortstop. One on the pop fly, and now this one on the ground because of Betancourt. So 2 down. The throw just ahead of Punto's arrival. So Kemp is at first with 2 out, and here's Andre Ethier. Loesch at the belt, turns, throws to first. Kemp back on the bag. Andre Ethier hitting .353 in the fast against Loesch. Half a dozen hits, no home runs. He certainly had himself a home run last night, that towering drive into the right field pavilion. The first pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. Ethier, trying to get out of the way, stumbled, almost fell across the plate. 0-1 the count. Kyle Loesch in his career has been a much more successful pitcher at home than on the road. Right-hander deals, and it's low and away. At home, 62-43, 19 games above 500. On the road, 10 games under 500. So a huge difference. Loesch trying to get out of the first inning. He's down 1-0. Ethier waiting. Right-hander taking some time, then crowds Ethier into the shins, and the count goes 2 balls and 1 strike. So if you joined us a little late, the very first pitch of the game, Loesch delivered to Carl Crawford, and Crawford hit it over the center field fence. Then Punto singled, Gonzalez popped up, and Kemp hit into a force play. The 2-1 pitch coming up, Ethier way out in front of an off-speed pitch, and that runs the count to 2-2. As far as Loesch's stuff is concerned, Ethier's read and knows about it. Fastball, slider, curve, and a change. Loesch signed a 3-year deal in March to stay with the Brewers through 16. Kemp bluffs, Ethier swings, fly ball into right center, very playable. Carlos Gomez is there, makes the catch, and that's that. 1 run, 2 hits, the run on the home run by Crawford. And at the end of an inning, Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. To death with poor run support. Matt Cain of the Giants leads with Sloey LeBlanc Wood and Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers are averaging a hair more than 2 runs a start for Clayton Kershaw. They'll be pitching now to Ricky Weeks with a run in the bank deposited by Carl Crawford. So it'll be Weeks, Gomes, and then Betancourt. Clayton ready and delivers fastball high to Ricky, who is 1 for 7 in the series. Ricky's a Florida boy, born in Daytona Beach, lives in Altamonte Springs, went to Southern University, which is in Baton Rouge. The next pitch to Ricky is taken low. He had an off year last year, hit only .230, but you look over the years he has played for the Brewers, he should be hitting around .265 to .270. Kershaw ready, comes back, fastball, little fly ball to center. Kemp comes, can't get it, and it bounces behind him. Up with it is Ethier, and into second base goes Weeks. A little pop fly double into center field. So immediately the tying run at second base, nobody out. Kemp running as hard as he could. Not only couldn't catch it, he overran the ball. Luckily for him and the Dodgers, Andre Ethier was backing up. So a frustrated Kemp goes back to his position. And now Carlos Gomez checking in. Carlos Gomez, a multi-talented ball player. He'll be a star before he's done, I think, for sure. Right-hand batter. Dodgers pull up the corners. Check swing. It's low. Ball one. 1-0 the count. For Carlos Gomez, last night he had 2 singles, and then against Matt Guerrier had a curveball, or at least a breaking ball, and hit it in the pavilion. Later on, Maldonado got a fastball off Guerrier, and he hit it to the back of the Dodger bullpen. So the pitch to Carlos is taken a little high. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Kershaw slowing the pace down, deep in thought. Gomez from Santiago in the Dominican Republic. Well put together, 2.64, 210. The pitch by Kershaw is line foul down the right field line. Another nice crowd on hand, giving away helmets today. We had a crowd Friday night of over 44,000, almost 45. Last night we had 50,000, and we're somewhere in the high 40s to 50, I would think, again today. And remember, the division leading Rockies here tomorrow night. Troy Tulowitzki and company. The 2-1 pitch, instead a pickoff play. Weeks just did get back ahead of the tag by Justin Sellers. Two balls and 1 strike to count. Dodgers lead 1-0 second inning. Kershaw from that elongated stretch comes back, and it's fouled off by Gomez. 2-2. Interesting to watch the count on Kershaw this year in opponents at bats that start with strike 1. They go on to hit 109. If the at bat starts with ball 1, they hit 300 against him. So just keep that in mind as the game progresses. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, and that's fouled away. Count stays. By the way, talking about counts, if a batter gets a 2-strike count on him and the count is 0-2, they are averaging hitting 178. 178. Probably the best 2-strike hitter since the last 25 years. Tony Gwynn hit 302 with 2 strikes on him, and the second best, 40 points less, Todd Helton. So the count is so important. 2-2 pitch in the dirt, ball 3, 3-2. The dangerous count for Kershaw when he falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. The opposition is hitting 361 against him. Waiting on deck, Yuniesky Betancourt. Kershaw ready. Here he comes on a high fly ball into right center and deep. Ethier and Kemp. It is Ethier tagging up his Weeks, and he will easily go over to third. So a long fly ball out by Carlos Gomez. who certainly can get things done for you.
Number 3, Uniski Betancourt.
And Uniski Betancourt coming up. One other thing about Gomez, he's only 27. Carlos Gomez, who had as many as 19 home runs for the Brewers last year, and he'll hit that many again, I'm sure. Long out, and here is Betancourt. Right-hand hitting third baseman. Kershaw delivers in the fastball in for a strike. So the Brewers have the tying run 90 feet away. One out, second inning. Dodgers leading 1-0. Uniski Betancourt. He's from Santa Clara in Cuba. Infield up, outfield fans straight away, and Kershaw from a stretch. Clayton back to the plate. That's lifted to shallow right. Ethier on the run will make the catch, and bluffing and coming to the plate and then returning is Weeks. Ricky looked like he was going to come, but he just wanted to draw the throw, and he got a good one from Ethier. Was not a great throw because Ethier had to come in to shallow right field. He also had the added momentum of throwing on the run, and Weeks wisely held on. So 2 out with a runner at third, and now Martin Maldonado coming up. The catcher, first baseman, who hit a fastball to the back of the Dodger bullpen last night. Right-hand batter. Kershaw delivers, fastball away, ball 1. 1-0. A lot of different people playing first base in the absence of Corey Hart. They're also using Betancourt every day at third until they get Aramis Ramirez back. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on, foul back, and the count 1-1. For Martin Maldonado, and he's a very talented young player, and he has one other talent that keeps him in high regard. He is the unofficial team barber, and he's good. In fact, barbering, the skills run in the family. His brother owns a shop in Puerto Rico, and that's where he practiced a lot. Maldonado takes in at the knuckles. 1 ball, now 2. 2-1 the count. Maldonado finally expanded his knowledge of barbering in Puerto Rico, took several classes, practiced in his brother's shop, so he is the go-to barber, especially when the team is on the road. It's a close shave right now as he takes high. 3-1 the count. You have Kyle Loesch, the pitcher, on deck. Of course, the old story, with 2 out, they hate to walk the number 8 hitter. The Maldonado waiting. Weeks down the line from third. Kershaw out of a stretch, comes to his hitter, and another foul ball off to the right out of play. Martin Maldonado is a big size, 6'1", 225. The Angels drafted him about 9 years ago out of high school. And by the way, if you remember an outfielder by the name of Candy Maldonado, who at one time played for the Dodgers, they are not related. All right, Kershaw ready. Weeks down the line from third with 2 out. Clayton deals, swung on and missed. Maldonado might very well have gone after a pitch out of the strike zone. So no runs, 1 hit. Man left at third at the end of an inning and a half. 1-0 Dodgers. Your stadium for all the exciting baseball action with a mini plan. You can choose from your favorite promotional nights, rivalry, and interleague matchups, or your preferred day of the week, for instance. Tickets start at $11 a game, so visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. Clayton Kershaw has made 31 pitches in his 2 innings. He's leading 1-0 on the home run, the leadoff home run by Carl Crawford. And now Ramon Hernandez, Juan Uribe, and Justin Sellers. You might also wonder about a leadoff home run. The first pitch fouled away by Hernandez, and the count 0-1. Carl Crawford hit that home run on the first pitch. The first Dodger home run on a first pitch of the game. You have to go back to 2008. And the pitch outside, that would be August the 17th of 2008. It was against the Brewers, and it was Matt Kemp who hit the leadoff home run to get Jeff Supan. Meanwhile, a 2-1 count as Loesch works on Hernandez. Kyle nods yes. 2-1 pitch. Ramon takes outside, ball 3. Tim Fedorovich riding that train back and forth to Albuquerque or flying over. He's the pawn they have to use when people come on, off the DL, etc. Though Hernandez is indeed the backup catcher. Veteran right-hand hitter fouls it away off to the right. And the count runs 3-2. Interesting, we're talking a little bit about counts. Kershaw going 3-2 has really stifled the opposition. When the count's 3-2, the opposition against Kershaw 1 for 19. So here comes Loesch, 3-2, and it is swung on and missed, and down goes Hernandez. First strikeout for Kyle Loesch, and the batter will be Juan Uribe. Just to follow up on that 3-2 count, it's already occurred 3 times today for Kershaw. LaCroix hit into a double play. Gomez fouled out to right, and Maldonado struck out. The first pitch to Uribe in for a strike, and the count 0-1. That's one of the big differences between Uribe this year and last. He is taking that first pitch far more often. He takes ball 2, 2-0. Might not seem like much. They go from, let's say, 35% swinging down to 25%, but it's helped him a little bit. He takes on the outside corner, 2-1. It also seems like Uribe is getting deeper into counts. Loesch works quickly. He doesn't hang around and works it low and inside. Outfield plays Uribe straight away. Dodgers and the Brewers, they will meet again May the 20th in Wisconsin. Loesch delivers and is promptly banged into left field, and coming up to play it on a bounce is Braun. So Juan Uribe slowly emerging a far better hitter than he's been the last 2 years with the Dodgers. And now the batter is Justin Sellers. Kyle Loesch might have felt a little twinge in the right side just above the hip. Plants the right foot, and he's about ready now to work on Justin Sellers. Uribe off the bag, and the pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1 to Sellers. In the words of Don Mattingly, Sellers is doing what we want him to do. He's not a hitter. He's batting .224, but he has done a wonderful job at shortstop. 0-1. Sellers takes another strike, and they count 0-2. Of course, if you talk about Justin Sellers and you mention the word shortstop, you immediately think, what about Hanley Ramirez? The latest from Mattingly, he said he looked good. I was surprised on how his timing looked at the plate. The biggest thing is medical saying that he's ready to go. Sellers swings, doesn't get it, and he's done. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Loesch. And the batter will be Clayton Kershaw. Another line or two about Hanley. Mattingly said that Hanley made some throws last night, had no problem. The main thing with rehab games is to make sure a guy's healthy. So positive reports on Hanley Ramirez last night. Kershaw fouls it back on the first pitch, and they count 0-1. Remember that dramatic moment when he hit it over the center field fence to win his own game 1-0. Clayton slightly open stance, low set, right-handed delivers, swung on and missed, and they count 0-2. Carl Crawford homered on the first pitch of the game, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. 2 out, second inning. Loesch, another look over at first, back to Kershaw, down and away in the dirt. 2-1. Tomorrow night, the Dodgers would be looking at the Colorado Rockies. Their new manager, Walt Weiss. Kershaw, meanwhile, slaps a ground ball to the left of the diving Segura, who makes a wonderful play to throw him out. Had no chance at second, but he made a great play to get Kershaw. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 2, if we take one more look on TV, it's still 1-0 Dodgers. Afternoon for a home run. The Dodgers lead 1-0, and we're going to the top of the 3rd inning as Kyle Loesch takes a breather in the cool of the dugout. Great play by Gene Segura. We'd heard about the fact he is playing good ball, and he has been absolutely dazzling and hitting about .350 at the same time. So a wonderful play by Gene Segura, and that carries us now to the 3rd inning. So Ron Renicky has himself a shortstop for sure. Kyle Loesch will start it off. He'll be followed by Aoki and then Segura. Dodgers pull up the corners if Loesch might bunt. A full swing and a miss, however, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Clayton comes back, gets it in again. 0-2 the count. So it's Loesch, Aoki, Segura, and if anybody gets on, Ryan Braun. Clayton ready, doesn't noodle around out there, and the pitch is swung on and missed. That'll take care of it for Loesch, and that's strikeout number 3. Just to take a quick glance, we realize it's early, but this is the way the West stacks up. Colorado leading Arizona by 1. Giants have fallen back by 2 thanks to San Diego. Dodgers 3.5 back, and the troublesome Padres 6.5 back. So the Padres have given the Dodgers a bad time, and they pushed the Giants around a little bit. So here's Aoki, who struck out in the first inning. Full swing and a high pop fly. Fighting the glare is Sellers, but he's under control and takes care of it. So 2 out in the 3rd inning. Aoki didn't hang around. And now here is Segura, the brilliant young shortstop. He came over to Milwaukee from the Angels in the deal that sent Zach Greinke to the Angels. Segura is from the Dominican Republic. He's 5'11", 175. Angels drafted him 2007. There's Greinke sitting in the Dodger dugout. How the wheels of baseball turn players' lives around. So here's Segura with Greinke as a spectator. And Gene takes a strike. Segura was way out in front of everybody at the very start of the season. He played for the Gigantes of the Dominican League in winter and won the batting crown for the league. He had 324. Fouls one away. He tied for second. He runs well. He had 11 stolen bases. So he will be a factor. Gene Segura. He is 23 years old. He is just starting out. 0-2 the count to the right-hand hitter. Here comes Kershaw. It's lunged at, fouled at the plate. Remember, we were talking earlier about Kershaw. When the count gets to 0-2, he is dynamite. So Clayton has the man he wants in the position he wants. No balls, 2 strikes. Kershaw ready, comes back, and it's fouled away. We were talking before about the 0-2 count. You're in a lot of trouble these days. 0-2. Martin Prado, the fine ball player, was quoted recently as saying, baseball is getting harder and harder. The walks have fallen off, and the 0-2 counts have really come to the top. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way, and that's taken low, ball 1. You realize, for instance, what the 0-2 count has done to some great players. I mean, Derek Jeter is one of the top players, right? On an 0-2 count, he's hitting .230. Albert Pujols, .250. Now the pitch coming up, swung on and foul back. Last year marked the 6th consecutive season that the 2-strike batting average dropped all the way to 178. So Segura on a 1-2 count now. Swings, sprays it foul into the crowd deep in the lower deck. Still 1-2. You know who was a very good 2-strike hitter back then? Jackie Robinson. One and 2 to Gene Segura. Ryan Braun on deck. 1-0 Dodgers. Kershaw delivers, and that's foul back. So he's giving Segura everything in the store, and Gene just keeps fouling them off. Just to continue that 0-2 count, the best two-strike hitters last year, you might find that interesting. Here's the pitch to Segura, swung on and fouled at the plate. The best two-strike hitter last year was Jason Worth, along with Martin Prado. They each hit 286. Matt Carpenter hit 268. Joe Mauer 266. Prince Fielder 265. And despite an 0-2 count, this will be the 10th pitch coming up to Segura. Kershaw ready. Here he comes. Got him on an off-speed curveball, and Segura lunged and missed. And another 0-2 count bites the dust. At the end of 2.5 innings, 1-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the third. Don't forget Tuesday, May 7th, Dodgers and Diamondbacks at 7:10. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Dodgers whole new blue themed t-shirt presented by Las Vegas. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Carl Crawford will lead it off, hit the first pitch today for a home run. This time swings and doesn't get the first pitch, and the count 0-1. By the way, when Carl Crawford puts that first pitch in play, he's hitting .727, believe it or not, 8 for 11. Strike one pitch on the way, swung on, lifted down the left field line a bit. Ryan Braun, still in fair ground, makes the catch for the out. So one away in the third, and Nick Punto coming up. One other note, because we've been talking about two strikes. When Carl Crawford hits with two strikes, his batting average 105. So whenever you're watching a ball game, listening, and you hear an 0-2 count, this modern day hitter has his back to the wall. Punto single to right field, his first at bat, takes low, ball one. 1-0 to Nick. Not much to tell you about Mark Ellis. There hadn't been any real announcement about him. Here's the strike one pitch on the way. That's in there. Don Mattingly said on Mark is doing more stuff. I saw him hitting in the cage. It's hard to know how many days he'll be down. Well, that's not much. We'll all have to wait and see. No balls and two strikes. Punto has a look at ball one. One away, bottom of the third. Carl Crawford walked up, hit the first pitch from Kyle Lohse over the center field fence, and that's it. Lose works from the first base side of the rubber, and the 1-2 pitch is foul back. Last year, the Brewers gave the Dodgers a bad time. They beat them 6 out of 7. They beat them 4 straight here. And actually going into game 1 of this series, the Brewers had beaten the Dodgers 9 of the last 11. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Swung on. Little flare, and it's going to drop for a base hit into center field. So Punto with a base hit to right, now is a base hit to center, and that allows Adrian Gonzalez to check in.
Baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Adrian Gonzalez, 0 for 1. So Punto taking his lead. Maldonado off the bag, yet holding him on. Wants room to roam with Gonzalez up there. Low set, looks at first, comes to his hitter, swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Dodgers apparently satisfied with the condition of the infection on the leg. Sent Adrian to the hospital, but he was back on the bench last night and appeared in the closing innings. He swings, fouls it away. Gonzalez 0 for 2 last night, grounded out and popped up. And the dreaded 0-2 count. Gonzalez with Matt Kemp on deck. Los looks over at first. Now comes to the plate. Swung on, little pop fly. Going out to get it is Weeks, having trouble. And so Segura comes over and bails him out. Little pop fly, a trio in shallow right field. And Weeks was having trouble. And Segura from his shortstop spot alertly came all the way over. And it was Segura making the play. A heads up by that fine young shortstop. Boy, he is impressive. So 2 down, and I think Adrian Gonzalez would agree he didn't have much of a swing on that 0-2 pitch. So here's Matt Kemp, hit into a force play in the first inning, and that was a wonderful play by Segura. Betancourt, I think, screened him out, and Segura was on his back and turned it to a force. This time he feeds his second baseman on a ground ball. So Kemp hits into the force to take care of Punto and the Dodgers in the 3rd inning. No runs to hit, a man left at the end of 3, 1-0 Dodgers. Still standing up. Dodgers lead 1-0. Talking about standing up. How about that little ray of sunshine in Mom's lap? 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits for Milwaukee. Ah, yes. Big sister help. Big boys are up there now. Ryan Braun takes a strike, 0-1. Braun single left field in the first inning. Ryan, right-hand batter, has faced Kershaw enough times. He is 4 for 17, and that's a strike. So you're 0-2 against Clayton Kershaw. See what Clayton can do to try to put him away. And he's in the dirt. 1-2. Kershaw has struck out 4, no walks, and has given up 3 hits. Clayton taking too much time for Ryan Braun. So time called. 1-2. Fastball away. So 2-2 to Ryan Braun. He's already picked up some of the big honors. Ryan, Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. MVP. And fouls one back. Braun had a stretch that was truly remarkable. He had a 4-year stretch where he scored at least 100 runs each year, knocked in over 100 runs, and that would be from 2009 through 2012. Two balls and 2 strikes to Ryan. Born in Mission Hills, lives in Granada Hills, and at his feet. So 3-2. Remember Kershaw on the 3-2 pitch. Hitters are 1 for 19 against him, including 0 for 3 today. LaCroix knows he hit into a double play. 3-2 the count to Ryan Braun. The rubber game, should the Brewers win it, they will then have won 4 straight series. Got him on a high fastball. 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. He just went upstairs with the fastball, and that was good enough. It was way out of the strike zone. That was more up around the mouth. So Braun on the ropes, no balls and 2 strikes. Now LaCroix, he had an 0-2 count, grounded into a double play. One ball and no strikes. Two balls and no strikes. And grounded foul. 2-1. Colorado will be in here. That means Cargo and Helton and Tulowitzki and company. And the first place Rockies will arrive for tomorrow night. We'll give you the pitching so you can make your plans. Fly ball to center. Kemp is right there. 2 down in the 4th inning, and the batter will be Ricky Weeks. Tomorrow night, game 1 of the 3 with the Rockies, and that'll be Tyler Chatwood against Ted Lilly. Tuesday night, Jorge De La Rosa will go up against Hyunjin Ryu. And then Juan Nicasio will pitch Wednesday night against Josh Beckett. Dodgers then will go to San Francisco, come back for a great homestand. That's right. I mean, they'll look at Arizona, then they'll see Miami with Giancarlo Stanton, and then 3 with Washington and Bryce Harper and company. That's a strike. So Kershaw kind of settling in now. Gave up 2 hits in the 1st inning. Gave up a leadoff double in the 2nd. And now starting a string of outs. He has struck out 5. He has not walked anybody. And he's given up the 3 hits. One and 2. 2-2. Ricky Weeks, usually a slow starter. He struggled on this road trip. He is 2 for 18 and then got the double. So 3 for 19 on the road. Little ground foul. Weeks last year against the Dodgers hit .240. Two balls, 2 strikes. Curveball. The Ricky fouling him off, and the count stays 2-2. Weeks has been around long enough. He needs 118 more hits to give him 1,000. 19 home runs shy of 150. 2-2. Fouled away. So he's going to try to wear Kershaw out. You may remember Gene Segura in the 3rd inning had a 10-pitch at bat before striking out. Two and 2 the count. Clayton's up to 63 pitches, and this would be the 8th against Weeks. Down he goes. Started to swing, held up, and pays the price. Kershaw picks up his 6th strikeout. Down go the Brewers, and at the end of 3.5, it's still 1-0 Dodgers. Is brought to you by your Southern California Kia retailers. Visit mysocalkia.com. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by your SoCal Ram dealers. Visit ramtrucks.com. On a glorious Sunday here in Los Angeles, the Dodgers at home with Milwaukee, leading 1-0 on the leadoff home run by Carl Crawford. It'll be Andre Ethier, Ramon Hernandez, and then Juan Uribe. Kyle Loesch has given up at least a hit in every inning. 0-1 to Andre. Ethier flied to center in the first inning. Crowds him at the left knee. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andre Ethier. Hitting back of him, the catcher, Ramon Hernandez. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. And then Hernandez will be followed by Uribe. The only run, the very first pitch of the game against the Dodgers, and Carl Crawford hit it over the center field wall. 3-1. Way out in front of that, guessing fastball, I'm sure 3-1, and he got a great changeup. I always remember a great moment when Ron Fairley played for the Dodgers, and he wanted to get a lesson from Ted Williams, who was then managing the Washington team. That's smoked into right center, but here comes Carlos. So Gomez runs it down, takes an extra base hit away from Andre Ethier, 1 away. Anyway, Fairley made an appointment to talk to Ted Williams. And then Ronnie said to me on the airplane, "Why don't you come with me?" And I said, "I don't want to come with you. You got your private meeting." "No," he said, "please." I said, "Well, okay, I'd be interested to see what the great hitter had to say." And so the 3 of us sat in the dugout in Pompano Beach, Florida. And Ted turned to Fairley and said, "Well, what's bothering you?" And Ron Fairley said, "Ted, the changeup is killing me." And Ted Williams said, "Well, then why do you swing at it?" That's the difference between a mere mortal and a great. One is being fooled by it, the other saying, "Why do you swing at it?" Though Ethier swung and missed, then connected, only to have Gomez make that nice running catch. 1-0 Dodgers. 1 out, 4th inning. Hernandez waiting. Fastball at the knees on the corner. Hernandez, I think, disagreeing. We have a Hernandez umpiring. That's Angel out at second base. 2-1. Hit down the right field line, slicing away on Aoki, but he catches up to it. 2 down, 4th inning, 1-0 Dodgers, and Juan Uribe coming up. So we mentioned the fact Uribe, who wasn't notorious, but he certainly had the reputation of being a first ball hitter, and he has dropped that considerably. Now gets deeper into the count. Of course, sure, he's going to swing at the first pitch now that I brought it up. Way off the plate, ball 1. Dodgers won 10 of 18 from the Rockies last year. Obviously, an improved Colorado team will be here tomorrow night. 2-0 the count to Uribe. Then the Dodgers will go up to San Francisco. The Giants beat the Dodgers 10 of 18 meetings. Then home for Arizona, Miami, Washington. 2-1 the count to Uribe. Dodgers had the home run and the single in the first inning, a one-out single in the second, a one-out single in the third. Loesch now trying to retire the side in order. 2-2 to Juan Uribe. 1-0 Dodgers, fourth inning. Down he goes. So a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Loesch as he picks up a strikeout. And at the end of 4, 1-0 Dodgers. Favorite all-time Brewer. I mean, we're talking about some wonderful players and people. Raleigh Fingers, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, and of course our favorite, Bob Uecker. You can tweet hashtag Brewer and then pick him out. Rollins, Yount, Molitor, or Uecker, and keep tuning in to see the results. Remember Uecker as the broadcaster, and he would say, a pitch that went to the backstop just a little outside. And then ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. Yeah, he's priceless. Great guy. He is just wonderful. And a funny player. I mean, I can remember Uecker saying he found out when he was released, he went to the clubhouse and they said, sorry, no visitors allowed. That's how he found out. Well, here's Carlos Gomez, a star in waiting, 0 for 1. A little fly ball, tough play, but Ethy is over there. So 1 away in the 5th inning. And Betancourt coming up. Oh, Uecker had some great lines. He said, I once had a slump that went into the winter. And he said, my kids would go to the ballpark with me and they'd want to go home with another player. Great guy. Betancourt flied to right field. So right-hand batters are going the other way a lot. The only left-hand hitter in the lineup for Milwaukee is Aoki. And the left-hand hitter popped up to shortstop. There was one little nagging thing that Kershaw had to keep in mind. It's something we point out. Foul back, and that's the point. So far, Kershaw has had 19 foul balls. So you look at a pitcher, and if he gets a lot of swings and misses, okay. But foul balls, they start to add up on you. He came into this inning having made 64 pitches. That's a clean as a whistle strikeout. It's also strikeout number 7 for him. Martin Maldonado struck out. We're slowly getting to that stage where you're wondering, well, tell us about someone who hasn't struck out. Jonathan LaCroix, the catcher, and the center fielder, Carlos Gomez. Everybody else has bitten the dust. Slow curveball for a strike. Kershaw gave up a leadoff double to Weeks in the second inning. He's retired 11 in a row since, and they're hanging up the K's. In a hurry to throw that fastball. Clayton Kershaw trying to balance his books with the Brewers. He's 2-3 lifetime. Trying to get above 500 with the league. He's 2-2 coming in. Ground ball, foul down the line. 1-2 the count. Check swing, did he? No, he didn't. And a high fastball for strike 3. I think Maldonado feels like he was cheated on that by plate umpire John Campaign, and slowly leaves his bat and helmet at the plate. 1-0 Dodgers. Schedule. They're finishing up with Milwaukee today. Then Colorado will be in here, and that'll be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Following Colorado, the Dodgers will go up to San Francisco Friday night, Saturday night, and a 5 o'clock game on Sunday. And then they come back and they'll play Arizona for 3, a day off, Miami for 3, and Washington 3. Then they go back out on the road to Atlanta and Milwaukee. 1 ball and no strikes to Justin Sellers, who struck out in the second inning. Kershaw is in high gear now. He's retired 12 in a row while striking out 8. And Loesch is hanging tough right with him. The only difference, the first pitch by Loesch, and Carl Crawford hit a home run. A fly ball to left field, coming up for it to make the catch is Braun. So 1 away. And Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw today has made 76 pitches in 5 innings. He has struck out 8. He has not walked anybody. It's interesting to see what Clayton Kershaw has done against the power hitters in any lineup he's faced this year. And we will include today, like the number 4 hitter, that's Jonathan LaCroix. LaCroix is 0 for 2 today. So the number 4 hitters in the league are 1 for 17 against Clayton Kershaw. And a little pop foul. LaCroix. So we have 2 down in the 5th inning. And the leadoff man will be Carl Crawford. If you like the number 5 hitter, today it's Ricky Weeks. And we take another look at Crawford hitting his home run in the 1st inning. Ricky Weeks is 1 for 2, so he's 2 for 15. So you get the idea. Kershaw has really gone after the power hitters and shut him down. That's a strike to Carl. Crawford last time up, fly to left field. Tried to pull a curveball, couldn't get much on it. 0-2 the count to Carl. Crawford looking to see if he's had much experience against Loesch. And he drives one to right field this time. And that's going to carry out. So Crawford hits one to center, one to right, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. Interesting that Crawford was 1 for 13 prior to today against Loesch. Boy, he snapped at that thing. So Carl Crawford certainly showing the way. 2 home runs today. That gives him 4 for the season. On 1. By the way, the other infuriating thing for Carl Loesch, after we spent quite a while talking about it, the count was no balls and 2 strikes. We can add another comment about the count. Crawford hits a no ball 2 strike count for a home run. This year, he was 4 for 38 when he had 2 strikes on the count. 1-2. By the way, Loesch is due to lead off in the 6th inning, but he's only down 2-0. Punto, single to right, single to center. In the dirt. 2-0 Dodgers on home runs by Carl Crawford. And got him, and he knew it. So Punto is caught looking. However, Crawford does it again, and at the end of 5, the Dodgers lead 2-0. Valenzuela was writing another chapter in Fernando Mania. The Dodgers were playing San Diego, and through 8 innings, no score in the game. That gave Fernando a string of 41 innings without allowing an earned run. And then the 9th inning, and a man by the name of Tony Gwynn came up, hit a home run, and beat Fernando 1-0. We'll tell you more about it, but let's go back to this one. In there for a strike. The other thing about Fernando, even though he lost that game, he won 17 and completed 14 and wound up with an earned run average of less than 2.5, 2.4. Fernando Mania. Hasn't been anything like it. I doubt if we'll ever see anything like it again. Well, Loesch looking every bit like a pitcher with that hack. That means Kershaw has not only struck out 9, he has struck out 3 in a row, and he's retired 13 in a row. The last hit for Milwaukee was the leadoff double by Ricky Weeks back in the 2nd inning. So here is Aoki. You always get the feeling he's going to bunt. Struck out, popped up 0 for 2. Dodgers always look bunt. Ball 1. He changes his stance from at-bat to at-bat, depending upon what the pitcher's giving him. 1-1. He does what Rafael Furcal used to do, kind of slap the bunt towards the shortstop, because you look at the infield, if you get it by the mound of the shortstop, you have a base hit. That's a strike. Where Ichiro seems to be running up as he hits the ball, Aoki seems to be falling away. 2-2. Aoki at 5'9", so you don't get a big strike zone. It's 2-0 Dodgers on home runs by Carl Crawford. 3-2. Waiting on deck, Gene Segura. I'll tell you what, you look at this Milwaukee club and you have a chance to see Segura and Braun, and now Gomez coming into his zone. Foul ball. They'll get Aramis Ramirez back soon. Corey Hart's been out at one time. Corey Hart, big first baseman outfielder, was on the 60-day DL. So it's going to be a while before he gets back. Corey, impatient, biting his nails and becoming just a spectator. Aoki is something. He hits like he's on a turntable. From Miyazaki in Japan. Well, that's 10 strikeouts now. Gene Segura, coming up, has been brilliant at shortstop as well as swinging a hot bat. We'll put the freeze cam on him and show you one. Here's one where he's on his back and he gets the force play at second. Not quite sure how he did that. And then this one, he is on his knees, turns, fires right on the money. Gene Segura. He is really impressive. Talking about impressive, Kershaw has struck out 10 and a strike. Segura singled to right and then had a 10-pitch at bat in the third inning, only to strike out. Hitting .358. If you look at the dugout of the Milwaukee Brewers, all eyes are on Kershaw. There they are, trying to figure him out. 0-2. Oh, just missed. Boy, you really had to have some plate discipline to take that pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. That close. Curveball in the dirt, 2-2. Kershaw has made 91 pitches. That means 15 pitches in this inning. Strikeouts, of course, take a lot of pitches, and he has struck out the last 4 in a row. 3-2. Three and two. Fouled at the plate. That took a bite out of Ramon Hernandez. Take a look at this. Right in the chest protector, but right at the pit of the stomach. Three and two to Gene Segura. Comebacker. So for Clayton Kershaw, he has now retired 15 in a row, walks off leading 2-0. A tremendous performance by Clayton Kershaw defensively and Carl Crawford offensively with 2 home runs. It will be Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier against Kyle Loesch, who's down 2-0. By the way, after watching Gene Segura battle Kershaw and eventually hit back to the box with the count 3-2. Opponents are now 1 for 22 against Kershaw, working on a full count. 1 for 22. Today, Kershaw has gone 3-2 to 6 hitters, and they're 0 for 6. He's also now made 94 pitches. He has struck out 10, and he retired 15 in a row. Bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Dodgers. Gonzalez twice popped up to Segura. One pop fly to the shortstop he caught in shallow right field. And ball 1. A reminder, tomorrow night, Tyler Chatwood and Ted Lilly. That's going to go foul. Tuesday night, Jorge De La Rosa and Hyun-Jin Ryu. And then Wednesday night, Juan Nicasio and Josh Beckett. Fly ball, but playable to right field. Aoki right there. So 1 away in the 6th inning. Here's a baseball update for you. The Padres are trying to give the Giants a bad time again. Padres have hit 3 home runs and lead 5-2 in the 5th. Patrick Corbin of Arizona battling Colorado. D-backs lead 4-2. And Russell Martin has hit 2 home runs, and the Pirates pounded the Cardinals 9-0. Everybody in and around Pittsburgh wondering, will this be the year? Will this be the year the Pirates will have a winning team? Well, right now, they're 5 games above 500. They're 15-10. 0-2 to Matt Kemp. Twice hitting into force plays. You know, coming into today's game, the Dodger outfield ranked 20th in the major leagues with only 6 home runs total. But Crawford hits 2 by himself today. The Braves, the last time we looked, have hit 17 home runs from the outfield. Justin Upton, the former D-back, has found a home in Atlanta with his brother. Justin has 12 home runs. The Rockies are next with 14. Dexter Fowler has 7. So here is Andre Ethier. 2 outs, 6th inning. 2-0 Dodgers. Late break for a strike. Good pitch. 0-1. Pulled on the ground to first. Right there is Maldonado. So without further ado, at the end of 6, 1-0, now 2-0 Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw putting on a show. He's also made 94 pitches in his 6 innings. As you can see, pretty even. No one inning where he really had to slave. He has retired 15 in a row. He has his strikeouts in a row, 4 straight at one stretch. So we'll see what he does now here in the 7th inning. 10 strikeouts, no walks. Ground ball, backhanded. Sellers almost fell down and throws him out. Justin looked like he was on ice skates and his feet were going out from under him. But he made the play. Right here. Whoops. So Ryan Braun does what he does so often. First ball swinging. He also becomes the 16th consecutive out. And Kershaw making the fist. That a way to go, Justin. And a strike. LaCroix hit into a double play, fly to center. That will be the left fielder Crawford's ball. 17 in a row. A reminder, Saturday, May 11th, you can bring your dog with you to the game for Natural Balance's Bark in the Park at Dodger Stadium. Purchase the package, receive a ticket in the Coca-Cola All-You-Can-Eat Pavilion, a goodie bag, and more. So purchase tickets at Dodgers.com/barkinthepark. So Kershaw with 2 out in the 7th inning. He is now retired 17 in a row. He gave up 2 hits in the 1st inning, and then he gave up a leadoff double by Weeks in the 2nd, and the Brewers have not been heard from since. That's a strike. Ricky is the owner of the most recent hit, the double back in the 2nd inning. He got as far as 3rd. And you can see Clayton has now reached the 100 pitch mark. 2-1. Ball 3. Now, if he gets a strike to go 3-2, that will bring up that little point we made a little while ago. Yep. Opponents are 1 for 23 when Clayton goes 3-2. Now they are 0-7 up to the moment. And a cracked bat. Ground ball to Punto. Another ho-hum inning. He's retired 18 in a row. And at the end of 6.5, the Dodgers lead 2-0. And the crowd will be singing God Bless America.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the singing of God Bless America. Accompanied by Nancy V. And performed today by Malia Savets.
Through the night with the light.
As we go to the bottom of the seventh, 2-0, favor of the Dodgers. Carl Crawford has hit 2 home runs, but he'd be lucky to get his name mentioned in the lead because Kershaw has been at his best. He has retired 18 in a row while striking out 10. He did give up 3 hits in the first 2 innings, and that's been that. Clayton, by the way, made 9 pitches in the 7th inning, so he's now made 103. And of course, the pitch count is always so important. His high this year, 111. He's done that twice. In his career, 125 pitches in a game. So we'll see. Hernandez has struck out, fly to right. Then Uribe 1 for 2 with a single, and then Sellers 0 for 2. So Loesch has pitched a good game, but he's just been totally overshadowed by Kershaw. A guy who was 1 for 13 against him has given him grief, and that's Carl Crawford. 1 for 13, and Carl hit the very first pitch for a home run over the center field fence, and in the 5th inning hit a home run to right. Little roller. It will be Maldonado feeding Loesch, and we have 1 away. Remember the Twitter poll, the question, who is your favorite Brewer? And there's some big, great names. Rollie Fingers, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, and Bob Uecker. And of course, we didn't expect a Brewer crowd to be voting anyway. And Bob Uecker won easily, 15%. 50% with Rollie Fingers at 25. 1 away. Here's your Uribe. Right. Uribe single to left, struck out, 1 for 2. That's a strike. That wasn't really a swing. He kind of waved at it. When Kershaw goes to the mound in the 8th inning, they'll have Carlos Gomez, Yuniesky Betancourt, and Martin Maldonado. That one's skied, and Ricky Weeks out there makes the catch. I mean, if you take out the home run, the second home run hit by Carl Crawford in the 5th inning, the Dodgers have had 1 hit since the 2nd inning. Meanwhile, Kenley Jansen now begins to loosen up. The pitch count, along with the situation, but the pitch count's going to settle Kershaw's hash. That's a foul ball. 0-1 to count. Loesch has allowed 3 singles. He has not walked anybody, but the 2 home runs by Crawford. And a fly ball, very playable. Gomez. So the Dodgers go quietly. And at the end of 7, it's 2-0 Dodgers. Kershaw has had to pitch exceptionally well because Kyle Loesch has almost matched him. Oh, certainly not in strikeouts, close on hits, but the big difference, 2 home runs by Carl Crawford. Otherwise, they're 2 stags and their horns are locked together, push and shove. A couple of things now to keep in mind. We're going to the 8th inning. They'll be keeping the pitch count very, very much so for Clayton Kershaw. 103 pitches. And if they get down to Loesch's spot, you know they're going to bat for him. So here's all he has done. He has struck out 10, and he's retired 18 in a row. Carlos Gomez twice flied to right field. Off the plate. And a high fly ball. Looks playable. Kemp, however, is going to have to play it off the wall. And Gomez flies into second base. So Kemp couldn't quite get there on that long double by Gomez. That snaps the string at 18.
Third baseman number 3, Eunice Betancourt.
That'll bring up Betancourt. We'll take another look. Kemp was shading a little to right center, so he couldn't quite catch up to it. So that breaks the string after retiring 18 in a row. 106 pitches. Now that's the time that Kershaw would get hurt. He was behind in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. We've talked about the count enough today, certainly, but it's worth pointing out. He fell behind, paid the price. 0-1. And not much of a bend on that. It was only 71. I think it was supposed to be a big spinner, like a rainbow curve. 1-1. And I think he tried another one and it wouldn't work. Kershaw has made 109 pitches. His high this year 111, a career high 125. Fastball. So after some slow stuff didn't work, he came back with the express, as Roy Campanella used to call it. Nobody out in the 8th. He made 110 pitches. Betancourt flied to right, struck out, 0 for 2. Ground foul. Two and 2 the count. Weeks doubled in the second. Kershaw then went on a tear and retired 18 in a row, and then gave up the double to Gomez here in the 8th. On the corner. He thought it was outside. Down he goes. So Betancourt is caught looking, and that would be strikeout number 11. Betancourt appealing to John Tampain and goes back in. So with 11 strikeouts, his pitch count now is up to 112. And he's got Maldonado and a hitter. That'll be Chris Davis, who will bat for Loesch. Broken bat, And they now have their man in run position, and Uribe gets him. So that's a big out. And the Brewers go back one base. The bat just shattered and got by Kershaw, the mean part of it. And then Uribe went into the rundown mode, handling the throw. So that's a huge out. On the fielder's choice, Maldonado is safe aboard at first. 1-5 to Race Gomez. And now let's see. Rick Honeycutt is going out. You figure he's going out because he never brings a hook. So he's going out to talk about Chris Davis. Chris Davis is from Glendale, Arizona. He went to school at Cal State Fullerton, and he was drafted in June of 2009. 5'11", 195. He's 25 years old. He'll be 26 near Christmas. Been a pro since 2009. Chris spells his name Khris. First time we've seen him today, or for that matter in the series. 0-1 the count to Chris Davis. Dodgers tell Kershaw how they want to pitch. More importantly now, 114 pitches. And he's in the 8th inning. 0-1. 0-2. Kershaw, by the way, is due to bat in the 8th inning, due to lead off. I would think that's very doubtful. No balls and 2 strikes. Ball 1. Dodgers lead 2-0 on home runs by Carl Crawford. So Davis off the bench can tell the grandkids about facing Clayton Kershaw and becoming strikeout victim number 12. And it's a question now, is that the last we've seen of Kershaw? He goes off leading 2-0. 0 for 3, 0 for 3, 0 for 3, but it's top heavy because if it weren't here, you look at Carl Crawford. He is 2 for 3, 2 home runs, and that's it. The Dodgers leading as Crawford hit the very first pitch by Kyle Loesch in the first inning for a home run over the center field wall. Then he homered to right. So Michael Gonzalez, who was the losing pitcher in the game the Dodgers won 7-5, and Gonzalez coming in. Kershaw, meanwhile, as figured, will not be coming up. It'll be Jerry Hairston to face Gonzalez. So Clayton made 117 pitches in 8 innings, struck out 12, and goes out leading 2-0. Fastball hit down the line. In pursuit is Segura. Boy, he's everywhere. So Gene Segura way down the line. We have a Hanley update. We can pass it along. Hanley Ramirez at Rancho Cucamonga, 1 for 2 today. He had an RBI double, scored a run. So in his 2 games, he is 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs plus 1, 3 RBIs and a double. Doing very well at Rancho Cucamonga. One step closer to getting back to Dodger Stadium. One away. And here's Crawford. First ball swinging, fouls it down the line. The anthem was played, the team was at its position, the game got underway. And when the Dodgers came up, Crawford walked up to the plate in the bottom of the first inning and hit Loesch's first pitch for a home run. That was the brief keynote address to what would be a terrific pitching duel between Loesch and Kershaw. So Kershaw in his 8 innings gave up 4 hits, struck out 12. There were no walks, and at one stage Clayton retired 18 in a row. High foul off third, no play. The Dodgers have had Kenley Jansen. Now they have Brandon League, the official closer, throwing in the pen. There's Brandon. When the Brewers come up in the 9th, they'll have Aoki, Segura, and Braun. And that'll do it for Carl.
Second baseman.
2 out in the 8th. And Nick Punto coming up. Punto single to right, single to center, and struck out. It should be duly noted for Kyle Loesch. He pitched so well. The Dodgers had that second home run by Crawford. That was their only hit since Punto singled in the 3rd inning. So Loesch pitched very well. Just came up with an opponent who is very much on top of his game, Clayton Kershaw. 1-1 to Nick, hitting .379. That's in there. Michael Gonzalez trying to get some outs here in the 8th inning. In the dirt. Michael Gonzalez, born in Corpus Christi and lives in Deer Park, Texas. Went to San Jacinto Junior College. Grew up idolizing Nolan Ryan. He's 6'2", 220. And he'll be 25. Fastball slapped foul. He was drafted, was Mike Gonzalez, by the Pirates in the 30th round in '97. Fastball, a one-hopper off Segura's glove. So Segura trying to backhand that sinking bullet, couldn't do it. It should go as a base hit, and that would mean Punto has 3 hits.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
So it is a hit. A 3-hit game for Nick Punto, and Adrian Gonzalez will be facing Mike Gonzalez. And ball 1. Mike Gonzalez, in his own words, has been everywhere. Well, in the big leagues, he's been with Pittsburgh and the Braves and the Orioles and the Rangers and the Nationals. But he's been in the minor leagues since 1999. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a drive to right. Aoki is there and makes the play. So Adrian, a line drive to right. Dodgers is done in the 8th. We head to the 9th. 2-0 Dodgers. It is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. By Time Warner, enjoy all the things you love better. 1-855-WANT-TWC. By CarMax, start the search for your next car at CarMax. And by El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. We have arrived at the 9th inning. Carl Crawford hit 2 home runs. Clayton Kershaw has struck out 12 for the 5th time in his career, and the 19th time 10 or more. And now it's up to Brandon League, and you want to talk about pressure. There's always pressure on a closer to just get the win. But you can imagine Brandon coming in from the bullpen thinking, what a game turned in by Kershaw. Now I just can't mess up. Well, was he? Fouled away. Aoki has struck out twice and popped up. All 3 at-bats, however, were against Kershaw. One and one. And a bouncer up the middle. Flagged by Sellers to get him. Well, as Don Mattingly says, Justin Sellers is doing the job we want. He's been all over the place defensively and doing a great job. So Aoki goes 0 for 4. 1 out. Here's Segura. And of course, with the Dodgers leading by 2, this is a huge at bat for Segura, considering that Ryan Braun is on deck. Braun could get you even with 1 swing. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Segura. Fouled away. Segura singled to right. And then he had a 10-pitch at bat in the 3rd inning and struck out. And in the 6th inning, he hit back to the box. One and one. Flipped in the air, back of first, down the line. Punto makes the play pronto. Nice play by Nick, right-hand batter, and he goes from one side of the infield all the way across the line. So now Ryan Braun could get them close, but that's all. Braun single to left, struck out, grounded out, hitting .260. So the Dodgers 1 out away from a 2-0 victory. It also would give them the series. That's a strike. The league trying to zipper it up. Crowd of 49,003. Little ground ball to short. Sellers. That'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Lee. A magnificent game for Clayton Kershaw. Clayton and Carl Crawford share the headlines. Crawford hits 2 home runs. The Dodgers win 2-0. Kershaw made 117 pitches, struck out 12 for the 5th time in his career. And Brandon Lee had an 8-pitch save to wrap it up. So the Dodgers, who lost 6 of 7 to Milwaukee last year, take 2 of 3 this year. And now dig in for Colorado, and they'll be followed by a trip to San Francisco, and then Arizona, Miami, and Washington. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. The home runs by Crawford did the job. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.